Good morning, YouTube. It is me again, your favorite Texas trucker, and we're talking about making the switch over to become an owner-operator. I've got a lot left to do this morning, but I wanted to take some time. I've been promising y'all that I were going to put out some videos, and so I wanted to take some time and do some of these videos this morning before I get involved in a lot of the stuff that I've got going on. All right, so we're talking about making the switch to becoming an owner-operator. And I've shown you the truck. I've talked about the truck. I've talked about why I chose to buy the truck that I bought, and I've talked about some of the things to consider when you are talking about or thinking about making the switch to leave your position as a company driver and to make the change into becoming an owner operator. All right. I want to say first off that I am just now making this switch. Okay. Maybe it'd be better if I had been an owner operator for a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years before giving advice to people that are making the change. Because there's going to invariably be some people out there that say, what the hell do you know? You're just now getting into it. As a matter of fact, I'm still technically employed by Millis Transfer, and I'm still going to be driving for them for 3 weeks, so I haven't actually made the change yet. And I'm not going to say there's no merit in that. There very well may be merit in that, because it's absolutely sure, it's absolutely correct. I could go out 3 weeks from now, fall flat on my face, and then have to come back and become an owner. A company driver again. But I feel like I've stacked the odds in my favor, and I don't think that's going to happen. And what I am going to say, and the reason I started off this way, is because one of the things that I want to say is that when you're looking at a job as a company driver, there's a lot of things that you can take for granted. And one of the things that you can take for granted is that you don't have any of the responsibility. As a company driver, the responsibility falls on your management staff, your customer service people who acquire and get the loads, your dispatcher who gives the loads out, your safety manager who takes care of the safety aspects of your job. Essentially, all you have to do is get in the truck and go from point A to point B. Don't hit anything. Pick up whatever you're picking up safely, transport it from point B to point C, and get it to point C undamaged. And then go collect your paycheck. Okay? That's essentially, what you're looking at. So, when you go and you become an owner operator, you're dealing with a whole different cup, a whole different issue. You're dealing with a whole different set of priorities, a whole different set of responsibilities. There's two ways to become an owner operator. One is to lease onto an existing carrier, and the second is to become an independent contractor or independent worker and run under your own authority. Okay. Either way it goes, there are issues, and so as you are making the transition from becoming a company driver to becoming an owner operator, you're sure to have that uncertainty. Okay, and that uncertainty is essentially saying that it's on me now. Okay, whether I make it or whether I fail is on my shoulders. It's on me. It's not customer service. It's not your safety department. It's not your dispatcher. It's you. Okay. The company's not paying for this truck. You're paying for this truck. The company's not paying your insurance. You're paying your insurance. The company's not finding your loads. You're finding your loads. As being leased onto a carrier, maybe you don't have all of that. Maybe the carrier that you're leased on might have dispatchers, so they take some of that from you. If you're leased onto a carrier, they're going to cover your fuel taxes. Maybe they'll have an insurance plan so that you don't have to pay as much insurance. Those are all possibilities. But the bottom line is that your success or your failure is tied into whether or not you are capable of managing your truck. And it's you that has to be capable. It's not your company. You know, it's not JB Hunt. It's not Swift. It's not Schneider. It's not Millis. It's not Knight. You know, it's not Prime. It's not Spirit. You know, it's not whatever company that you may have. You know, it's not their responsibility to make sure that you succeed or fail. It's your responsibility and your responsibility alone. And with that comes this fear of, what if I fail? You know, what if I don't succeed? What if I go out and I buy this truck and then it has to get repossessed because I can't make my payments? Those are things that you know, are bound to go through your head. You know, you might have family members saying, hey, you can't do it, or you shouldn't do it, or it's too much risk, or not enough money, or you've got to deal with the maintenance on the truck, and you know, and there's always going to be somebody that's going to give you a laundry list of reasons why you can't or shouldn't do what you're planning to do. Okay. And some of those reasons might have a little bit of validity to them. Some of those reasons, you know, there might be something worth paying attention to there. On the same idea, though, you know, you have a much greater chance of success as an owner-operator than you do as a company driver, if you know what you're doing, and if you market your lanes. I was reading in one of the pages that I'm on today from a broker who was talking about a new carrier, who he had tried to give a load to. The load was a 300 and something mile load, and the pay was going to be $1,000 for it. Okay, little over $3 a mile. The new carrier wouldn't take the load for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason was. And then so the broker calls him back and gives him or tries to give him another load a few days later, where he's at that point. The load had 30-40 mile deadhead, and it paid good. Again, it was a good paying load. But the carrier says, I'm broke. I can't make the load. I don't have any money for fuel, because he ran this really long load at 85 cents a mile. Well, 85 cents a mile broke him. Okay, so yeah, you have the opportunity to fail, then to fail miserably, if you don't know what you're doing, or if you don't have any clue about what you're doing. So before you make the jump, before you make the decision to become an owner-operator, what you need to do is you need to research the market, and you need to learn what it is that you have to run for. And then you need to maintain a high standard for your pricing. Not so high that nobody wants to mess with you, but not so low that you destroy the market. It's the same concept in tattooing, all right? Because, you know, tattooing is the field that I came from. And it's the same concept. You know, you have companies that are cutting throats constantly trying to get these loads. Just like in tattooing, you have companies cutting throats trying to get the tattoo. The standard for tattooing is $100 an hour. All right. There's some places that'll charge up to $150. In Los Angeles, there's some places that charge $225 an hour. And then there's some places that'll charge, you know, $50 an hour. Well, the $50 an hour guys go out of business. Ultimately, they don't succeed. They go out of business. Whereas the $100, $125 an hour guys, they pretty much succeed over the long term. The $225, $250 guys, you know, they've got to be in the right market at the right place. You know, if they're not, then the market's not going to sustain it, and they're going to go out of business. So, you know, you have to know your market. It doesn't matter what market you're in. In trucking, it's the same thing. You might have the ability, because you keep your profit margin low, to run for $1.50 $1.25 a mile. Doesn't mean you should run for $1.50 or $1.25 a mile just because you can. All right. Or should you turn that load down in order to get $1.85, $1.95, $2.10, $2.50 a mile? Or is $2.50 a mile too high for the lane that you're running or for the freight that you're carrying? These are things that you kind of have to have some kind of an idea about. Some of that's going to come through experience as you run those lanes and as you pull that freight, and as you sit and wait for the next load. Some of that is going to come just simply from studying and knowing your market and making contacts. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of fear on whether or not you can succeed or not. You deal with that, you alleviate that by being prepared. Okay. Is being an owner-operator for everybody? No. Being an owner-operator is not for everybody. Being a company driver is not for everybody. Being a truck driver is not for everybody. Obviously, today I'm talking about truck drivers. Obviously, today I'm talking about people that, have that are in the industry and have at least a little bit of an understanding of the industry, and they're considering making a jump from becoming a truck driver to becoming an owner-operator. So is it for everybody? No. Is it possible to succeed? Yes, absolutely. It's possible to succeed. I have quite a few friends that are owner-operators, quite a few friends that are very successful at it. I've talked to the people with the company I'm going to lease onto. I have chosen to lease onto a company rather than start with my own authority. The reason for that is that I'm using a model in preparing for what I'm going to do. The model that I'm using is stepping stones. Okay, my first stepping stone was to be a company driver and to learn the business on the company driver side and to spend every waking moment that I had learning everything that I could learn to prepare myself to be an owner operator. Okay, second part of that second stone, the second step up that stone or up that ladder, or staircase, whatever analogy you want to use. The second step is to become an owner-operator, to purchase the truck, and to lease it onto a carrier that's going to take care of a lot of the things that I normally have to take care of if I was an independent contractor. All right, and so I went through many companies in trying to make this decision as I was getting nearer and nearer to purchasing my truck. And I went through Trucks For You, ATS, Mercer, Landstar, CRST Malone, Lord of mercy. I don't forgot. There's Titan Transit. At least 7 or 8 more that I just for some reason can't seem to think of right now. I shied away from anything that did a lease purchase. All it had to do was say in there that they were a lease purchase company, and I didn't do it, even if they hired owner-operators. With a couple of exceptions. ATS, Trucks For You, and CRST Malone were 3 that I looked at and was very strongly considering. Ultimately, I chose where I'm at for a couple of reasons. I'm going to be signing on to a company by the name of Triple C Transit. They are based here in Weatherford, Texas. Okay. The primary reason that I chose the company is, and this is not a good reason, but I'm going to tell you there were other factors, but the primary company that made this place a choice for me was the fact that they are roughly 8 to 9 minutes away from my house. Okay. Again, that's not a great reason to choose, but it's the one that made me look at them. Okay. Now, as I was looking at them, I learned some things about them, and that cemented in that decision. All right. First thing that I learned about them is that they only have 5 company drivers, and they have 49 owner-operators. It's a small company. Second is they have no age limit requirement on trucks. The third is that they pay 80% plus full fuel surcharge. They pay 80% of the load to the truck, and 100% of the fuel surcharge. All right, they pay to the truck. They handle all of the paperwork. They handle the taxes, and they use dispatch. It's not a forced dispatch company. I can refuse a load if I need to refuse a load. They will get me home when I need to be home. If they do not get me home when I want to be home, then I have the option to deadhead home if I want to. They don't have a problem with that. As I said, I can refuse a load. Second is I've talked to a couple of the owner operators there, and I know I was told what they were making. Third, the other day when I went in there to talk to them and to do the orientation and all the paperwork and all that kind of stuff, they broke out their top revenue makers, and they showed me what they were making, between $6,000 and $8,000 a week to the truck. Okay, and this is dry van where I'm going to be starting at. And these are the top revenue makers. The low end was $2,500 to $3,000 a week. Okay, and I can survive off $2,500. I can make it and still make a profit on it if I have to. So I can succeed on the low end, but I've got the option of making it all the way to the high end. All right, they have a minimum standard that they want each truck to bring in, and as long as you're making that minimum standard, they're not gonna mess with you. They run paper logs, and and so there was a lot of good things about making this decision, making the choice to come to this company, and so all those things I took into consideration. Again, I said I've talked to a couple of the owner operators, so I know some of the situation that those guys are in, and if the things they're saying is true, I'm happy. Okay. Let's see. Again, I went in there and I met with them, and I spent a long time talking to them, and and everything is done. All I need to do is finish up my time at Millis and get over there. So there's going to be people that are going to say that you can't do it, and there's this frightened, scary, what if scenario that runs through your mind. It's already run through mine. Okay. What if I fail? Okay, well, what if you never try? Okay, that's what I say. What if you never try? You never know what you can succeed at until you're willing to sit down and do it. Okay? To me, it's worth the chance. To me, it's worth the gamble. To me, it's worth being my own boss. It's worth me making that decision to get out there and put forth the effort and the work to do what I love to do, and to make the money that I know that I can make doing it. Okay, to me it's worth it. May not be worth it to you, but to me it's worth it. So, I don't know what else to say in this vein right here, except that if it's your dream to become an owner operator, you need to pursue it. Okay. I contacted OIDA to find out what it was going to cost for them to help me get my own authority. All right. Now I could do it all myself, and it'd probably cost a little bit less to do it all myself. But I don't know what I'm doing. I would have to stumble through it all, whereas I know they know what they're doing. It's $1,000 and some change. We'll say $1,100. I think it's $1,086 or $1,081 or something like that. Anyway, $1,000 something, and OIDA will take care of everything for you. Then on top of that, you have to have cargo and liability insurance if you get your own authority. And for a first year authority, cargo and liability are going to be really expensive. They're estimating between $8,000 to $12,000, depending on your experience level and depending on the carrier. All right, depending not the carrier, but the insurance company. And then they're going to want 20 to 30% down. Well, if you figure on the high end 12% and 30% down, that's $4,000 out of pocket just to get the insurance. Okay, thousand something, $1,100 for OIDA to do the paperwork and get everything that you need to run your authority, and then on top of that, you have your base plates, which are going to run in Texas $1,500. Okay, so that's a lot of money. You know, you're looking at $7,000 just to get your own authority. And I'm not ready to make that step yet. I'm going to make the step, but I'm not ready to do it yet. So, let's go ahead and cut this off right here. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments below. I might have gotten a little scattered, and I might, I'm sitting here thinking that maybe I kind of got off topic a little bit. I'm not real sure. But if there's something I didn't cover you were expecting me to cover, please comment in the comments below, and then I'll try to address that. All right, y'all take care. Let me go ahead and cut this video off for right now, and we'll catch you a little bit later. I got a bunch of stuff I got to do today, so I'm probably not going to make any more videos today. I've done 3 this morning. Told y'all I was going to have a flurry of them coming out, and so anyway, I've got 3 of them done this morning. I'll do a couple more over the next few days, and we'll get them posted up. But meanwhile, I appreciate every one of you watching. I'm just starting out as an owner-operator, leaving as a company driver, so there's going to be some things that I haven't covered that maybe you want me to cover. And if you want me to cover them, please comment. Give me the ideas of what it is that you want me to look at, and I'll be happy to look at it. I do want to talk about leasing on to the carrier and what they required of me and what I had to do in order to do that. But we will do that in another video. All right, and I'll try to make it a fairly short one. All right, take care. Peace out.